right? So Al-Ghazali, he always takes the scholars to task, right? And it's something we have to pay attention to. Not everything that glitters is gold. This is what Imam Al-Ghazali is saying. That some people, they claim religion, they claim to be scholars and representatives of the deen, but often that these people are the worst enemies of religion because they have the wrong intentions in studying the religion. If we study this Islam or approach this Islam and for anything other than Allah, then shaitan will become our guide. Shaitan will become our teacher. It is sufficient here to warn you of three evil dispositions of the heart, three primary diseases, which are the most common amongst contemporary religious jurists, in order that you may guard against them, for they are both destructive in themselves and constitute the roots of all other evil dispositions. They are envy, ostentation, and conceit. Envy, ostentation. So envy, ostentation, it means showing off. Conceit means a person's full of himself. Person thinks, he or she thinks, I'm so good, I'm so great. Look at me, I've memorized Quran. Look at me, I've memorized 100 hadith. Look at me, I have done this, I have done that. And we forget that Allah, it is Allah that gave us that thing in the first place. So envy, of course, jealousy. Ostentation, it means show off. If you want to be a big shot, to be the person in charge, be the person, in front. Right, and I've seen people of religion. They say this. I once saw a person. He said, I once saw a person. He said, the people, like there were some people there. They complimented him. He'd say, "It's good to see you." The person who was there. I was in a gathering. I said, "It's good to see you." The person, the religious person, he said, "It's good to be seen." I swear to God, the person, he said, "It's good to be seen." This is ostentation. That's just like a corrupt heart. It just manifested on the lips. It's good to be seen. I'm not making that up. This is good to be seen. So you have the ostentation and the conceit. Strive your utmost to purify your heart of these vices. If you conquer these, learn how to guard against the others which are mentioned in the quarter of the ways to perdition. But if you are unable to deal with these three evil dispositions, you will find yourself even less able to deal with the others. So these are the primary ones, and we can take note of this: envy, ostentation, conceit. These are like the foundation of all corruption. The foundation of all corruption: envy, ostentation, conceit. It was envy that destroyed Shaitan. It was the envy and the conceit that destroyed Shaitan actually. So Shaitan was jealous of Adam. And he also felt like he was the greatest thing in the universe. So he says to Allah, how can I bow to him? I'm made out of fire. He's made out of clay. I'm better than him. This is conceit. Person's full of himself. Right? So he says, strive your utmost to purify your heart of these vices then. Do not imagine that you will be able to maintain a sound intention in your pursuit of sacred knowledge while there exists an iota of envy, ostentation, or conceit in your heart. Powerful words here. Imam Al-Ghazali is saying that if you have any of these things in your heart, right, don't study Islam. Right? Powerful words. He's saying if these things are present in the heart, then be careful with studying Islam, because they will take hold of you. And you will be a trial for the Muslims. If you have jealousy, conceit, ostentation, these things will destroy you, and it'll destroy other Muslims as well. And this is what's going on in the Middle East. In the Muslim, even here in the United States, many communities. This is what it's eating us alive, right? That we approach Islam the wrong way. And we want to approach Islam and gain knowledge and become famous. We're full of ourselves, then we hurt ourselves and we hurt other people, right? So all the horror stories we hear of like scholars doing corrupt things, right? Even with the Catholic Church, it's the same phenomena. Sometimes Muslims, we think as Muslims, oh, we don't have those things that go on in our communities. That's just like the kuffar, disbelievers. They got those problems. We don't have those problems. That's a lie. We have the same exact problems too. These are human problems. So that's what Imam Al-Ghazali is talking about. These are human issues. If any human being approaches religion With these diseases, he will be a disaster, a calamity upon other people. This is real. And I've seen this with my own eyes overseas. Scholars that are a calamity on this ummah, some scholars that are a calamity. No. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there are three destructive vices: obeying an impulse to be stingy, following passion, and admiring oneself. We'll repeat that. There are three destructive vices. And this is like a muhlik, something that will destroy you. Obeying an impulse to be stingy. Person says, for example, a beggar comes to you. He says, "Can I have $1?" And you say, I can't let go of that dollar or that $2 or that $10. I can't let go of it. Right? That will destroy religion. Right? Or following passions. That a person follows all of his passion, doesn't attempt to control him or herself. This will lead to destruction of religion. And as the Prophet said, admiring oneself, this is called ujb. Ujb, it means that a person looks at himself and he says, "I'm so great, I'm so awesome, look at me." Right? Maybe a person looks at, and we have so much of this in the world today. The racism, it's part of ujb. A person looks at himself, "My skin is this color, I'm better than that person. My skin is this color," or "My family's from this place, I'm better than them. I'm from India, he's from Bangladesh. I'm from Egypt, he's from Sudan. I'm from Palestine, he's from Iraq. I'm from Saudi, he's from India." Blah, 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 blah. This is all conceit, and it destroys the human being, and it destroys the Muslim then in turn. Destructive things that Imam al-Ghazali is talking about here. Admiring oneself. A person looks at himself and says, "I'm so great." Or he or she says, "I'm so great." These things may sound like vague or fantastic to us, but just turn on the TV, read the Ihya, and then turn on the TV, look at like a makeup commercials, or look at any commercial that you see on TV. It is like the exact opposite of what Imam al-Ghazali is counseling us to. Everything on TV is telling us that like beautify yourself, and also be conceited. Be enamored with yourself. Love yourself. This is what all it's about. Look how good you look in the mirror. Right? Look at how awesome and great you are. This is what the modern world teaches us. This is why the modern world has so many problems. This is why we have so much racism. This is why we have so much tumultuousness in the world and instability. Right? So we'll read briefly, inshallah. We'll start the section on envy, or what we call al-hasad. Hasad, right? Hasad. Envy is a greater form of miserliness, right? The simple miser is the one who is stingy towards others with his possessions, but the greater miserliness is of one who is stingy with Allah's favors upon his servants, favors that are not even his, but from the vast treasures of Allah's omnipotent power. So it's one thing Allah gives you something and then you don't want to share. But it's another thing entirely that Allah gives, He blessed a particular servant with something, and you say, "That person, he shouldn't have that." Can you imagine that? Some people do that. That person, he shouldn't have that car. He shouldn't have that wife. He shouldn't have that house. Allah shouldn't have gave it to him. They may not say it in those words, but that's what the heart says. If you see a person that has something and you don't like that they have it, then this is what it is. You're basically saying Allah should not have given that thing, given that person that blessing. Right now, Muslims, this is rife within our communities. This is rife amongst men and also women in our communities. Very, very sad situation. A Muslim may see his Muslim brother with a nice car. You find that many Muslims, a person has something nice, you feel that you can see the envy in them. You can see like the disgust. You can see them say, "He shouldn't have that thing. He shouldn't have that family. He shouldn't have that wife." Then and it gets really sick. And this is from Shaitan. You find sometimes that the person, the envier, doesn't even want the thing. He doesn't even want the car or the house. This is not what the problem is. The problem is that the other person is enjoying it. He has a blessing. So the person, these things are real. Some dark aspects to dark people, dark souls. We ask Allah for His safety. The envious person is one who is pained when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from His treasures bestows on one of His servants some sort of wealth or knowledge or love in the hearts of people or any kind of good fortune. Some people are not well wishers. Some people don't want people to be in a good state. Very, very sad situation, but this is the reality. We ask Allah to protect us from their evil. He is pained to the point where he wishes that Allah's favor would be taken away from that person, even if the same favor would not be transferred to him as a result. This really is the pinnacle of all wickedness. This is a wicked thing, terrible, and about which the Prophet said, envy devours good deeds just as fire devours wood. The envious person is the one who suffers punishment and receives no mercy. Right? These are the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is in continuous torment, for he will never be there will never be a lack of those among his contemporaries and acquaintances upon whom Allah has bestowed knowledge or wealth or esteem. Right? Some people are jealous that a person, for example, has a position. Maybe he's a doctor, lawyer, maybe he's an accountant, maybe like you're a leading scholar. You have people who are jealous. He shouldn't have that. She shouldn't have that. Sometimes you have some sisters as well. She shouldn't have that husband. That happens. Very, very sad. I've heard stories where you have some sisters who they attend like another sister's wedding, and I hear terrible stories where one sister will be like, I should be in her place. She shouldn't have him. I should have him. Right? And we know it's the same with men and women. That you have jealousy with men and jealousy with women. Right? It's a very, very terrible state of affairs. Darkness of the heart, darkness within the soul. We ask Allah to free us from this darkness. Ameen. So this person, he is in continuous torment, jealousy. It's taken grip of his heart. Thus, the envious person continually suffers punishment in this world right up to his death. And the punishment of the world to come is greater and more severe. It's akbar wa ashad. It's greater and more severe. The point is to say, if we believe in the Day of Judgment, we should look to free ourselves from these things, right? But you'll find the people who don't believe in the Day of Judgment, it's not a big deal for them. They continue to hate and envy until the day they die. This is how these people are. In fact, the servant does not arrive at true faith as long as he does not love for his brother and for the rest of the Muslims what he loves for himself. Indeed, he must participate with them in times of ease and times of difficulty. Muslims are like a single building. One part strengthens the other. They are like a single body. If one limb suffers, the rest of the body suffers as well. If you do not find this is the case with your heart, it is more important for you to occupy yourself with seeking deliverance from destruction than with obscure branches of juristic knowledge and case law. Right. So we'll stop here, inshallah. Of course, we didn't have that much attendance today, but I'm going to post, inshallah.